So quickly before I start this review, I was talking to people in a discussion video together about One Punch Man and... oh, what's that doing here? Better. I'm sorry, I've always wanted to make that joke. It was a plug, get it? Because we were talking and I realised not many people know actually about the animated chapters Murata used to do, where he would do a chapter normally, except there'd be parts of action or scene where he'd do it so it looks like an animation when you flip page by page, and it's really good. And they don't do it as much now because they're not in the official release of them. And Murata doesn't do that much anymore because obviously he's working on other things. But I really recommend them. They're on Crunchyroll in GIF form, so that's the best way to take a look at them these days. It was all kinds of things. It was like when Sonic was fighting Saitama versus Genos, Metal Knight arriving at the Meteor. There's a lot of really, really cool moments like that. And like I said, Murata doesn't do that anymore, and I'm okay with that because, you know, the quality I don't think's dropped at all from him not doing it. But I seriously recommend you check them out. They're fantastic. Yeah. One Punch Man, Chapter 93. I couldn't find a name for this. So for now, I'm going to call it Move Out. Because One Punch Man chapter names tend to be quite small like that, and there's an exclamation mark. I don't know what the actual chapter name is, so once it's found out, if someone could let me know, that'd be great. Let me know in the comments, and I'll change the thumbnail at least, because I can't re-upload this. The chapter starts off with a meeting in the S-Class, with the S-Class heroes, and they're talking into details. A lot of this chapter... most of the chapter is basically the discussion between the S-Class heroes, what they want to do, how the roles are being split up, but it was mostly to show it was just this interaction between the S-Class heroes, and it was all great. I really enjoyed it, but in any case, just before I get into talking about the S-Class heroes, I want to talk about Murata's art and detail to stuff, because I've talked about it before, and obviously he's a fantastic artist, but just the level of detail he goes into. So, obviously when they're all talking, and they have that image of Elder Centipede show up. Now, Murata could have easily just done that as one big page, have the S-Class heroes shown up, and then just have, like, you know, a hologram of Elder Centipede there. But he went that extra level, like, he did it so the hologram was showing up a bit at a time, and it was going out. And, like, that level of detail, that to think, no, I think that looks a bit cooler, so I'm going to do that instead, despite it causing a lot more work, and, you know, to think of this kind of detail. I keep saying detail because it's detailed, and it's amazing, and yes, it's fantastic. This is why he's so good, because he goes to this kind of level, and he's really good at it too. Yeah. Wow. Good words, Matt. Good words. So as it carries on, we see also all the S-Class heroes interacting, and it's a good way of us just to get to know these characters a little bit better. Not into the massive amounts of detail which we'll hopefully see in the Monster Association, but just these little, like, conversations between people and how they interact with things. So, for example, like, Super Dark Alloy, he's great. I really like him because he's trying to do the right thing a lot. He's trying to be like, no, we need to work together. We've got to help each other out. He seems like a decent person. And also with Dark Alloy, I think Murata's also going back to Murata's art, he's doing a great job of drawing him as well, because, you know, there's a lot of muscly men in One Punch Man. So you got obviously, like, especially the S-Class, so you got like Popo, Prisoner, Tank Top Master, and of course Super Dark Alloy. I think he's doing a really good job of making him like a super muscly man, which sounds really weird, but he's doing, like, I just feel like the way he draws the muscles on him, just like, it accentuates a bit more, it stands out. I think it's also more at the angles he draws him at too, so he tends to draw him more, so, like, more, like, high, like, facing down or facing up at him, and that, like, makes his muscles stand out. Sounds weird, but I think he's drawing him really well. And a lot of the interactions between this were very good, and you get, like I said, you get a grasp on how everyone thinks more than anything. And they're talking about all kinds of issues. So, like Drive Knight, for example. Drive Knight, he briefly comes up, and they're like, well, no one knows what he looks like, but he's a cyborg, and it's kind of that thing of, I suppose the Hero Association are taking whatever help they can get to fight monsters, and if they're strong, that's all that matters to them. But there's also probably darker sides to these kind of people too, and that's where the issues come up more than anything with the Hero Association, is they don't really do their proper research. As we learn with Zombie Man as well, is, you know, they don't know, as far as we know, they don't know he's from the House of Evolution, and they don't know, and they also think Genos was the one that defeated the House of Evolution when it was Saitama, just because Genos was there. But yeah, as it carries on, you know, they're just talking about all these ideas and all these plans, and it's Tatsumaki who once again starts it all by saying, well, you guys just wait on the sidelines, I can beat leave the boss to me, I'll sort him out, you guys are too weak to deal with him. And it's just, the conflict between her and Flash was funny, because for a while she had the lead and it was great, and she was like, oh, you're too weak, can you do anything? And he's like, can we just go away, can we just go away later? No, he's like, can we just carry on with the meeting? And later on, He's like, I think your psychic abilities have stunted not only your mental growth, but your physical growth as well. I was like, boom, Flash with the comeback. You might be Flash on the battlefield, but your comebacks are a little slow. We'll get to that. Maybe that'll be your character development. It's okay. And then while they're also talking about the monsters, they're also like, you know, we can't hold back. We've got to go in without hesitation to attack them. There's nothing we can do. Like, you know, don't listen to them talk, just go for it. And then it's Puri Prison who's like, actually, there are some prisoners who, you know, were coerced, and he's like, they were forced to be taken away, because obviously he doesn't know the truth. And that'll be an interesting moment as well, of course, when he meets these prisoners again who are transformed. They're like, no, we can't wait to kill you. And he's like, you know, I want to save them. And then it's Atomic Samurai who makes the valid point of, you know, well, like, they can't be saved. I had an old friend who turned to a monster, and I had to cut him down without mercy, because that's what it is to be a hero. And because, as far as we know, there isn't a way to turn monsters back. And the thing is, monsters have always been quite heartless, but at least what I've seen in the Monster Association is not all monsters, while they're heartless, you know, they're not devoid of feelings, if you know what I mean. Well, we'll see what happens with Bug God when he learns that Goro killed Royal Ripper. That might change my answer if he's like, oh well, then that just means Royal Ripper was too weak or something, because apparently they're good friends. But then I also think to like Demon Showerhead, Unicorn and Super Mouse, like, they were a group that were hanging out together and having good times. So maybe there are friendships between monsters, and maybe this could expand even further into maybe monsters who aren't necessarily bad. Because I've always wondered, what if there was someone, because all it takes in One Punch Man is a bad day for someone to turn into a monster, really. Like, you just have a really dark thought and then you just become a monster. But what if there was someone who did that, who was good, they just had a really, really bad day, turn into a monster because of all these negative thoughts, and then they regret it and they're like, I don't want to be a monster. You know, that might be an interesting thing to talk about. And of course, there are people who can turn between monsters and humans, so as we've seen with the ninjas, and possibly Gyoro if that woman was the actual form of Gyoro. But yeah, cool. And then it really, really all kicks off with a Might Mask. This is where the chapter gets really, really good. Just a few things before I get into a My Mask, which I realised I missed out on. So, first of all, when Atomic Samurai is like, well, do you have a way to save them from turning into a monster? And Puri Prisoners actually just answers like, well, I was thinking about giving them an angel hug and then just a deep, passionate kiss combo, see if that would work at all. And Atomic Samurai is just like, I'm sorry, just carry on with the meeting. That was great. Zombie Man was fantastic in this whole chapter. Obviously, I'll get into the bits later with him and a Mind Mask, but just the point where he's trying to be the voice of reason. Zombie Man and Dark Ally characters I'm going to really like, just because they're trying to be these voices of reason within like these. Because the thing I'm liking a lot about the S-Class heroes is they're all these different personalities, and you know, we're saying all these different people, and they stand out from one another. They do. Obviously in design-wise, of course, but I also can try and compare them to like the captains from Bleach, only because, you know, a lot of them were just like, I am Captain number 5 and I'm here to do my job. And not all of them were like that, because you had characters like, in Bleach you had characters like Kenpachi and Mayuri, but a lot of them were quite serious in their job and could be casted the same way. No one had really any standout personalities. But I'm liking it because obviously you got like the conflict between Flash and Tatsumaki. You've got like Zombie Man trying to kind of keep the peace, and you know, the moral compass that is Dark Alloy. Pig God doesn't really care, and I feel so bad for Child Emperor because he's got to deal with all these issues, and he's only like, how old is he? He's like 7 or 8. I think he's 9 actually. He's young, and he's dealing with all this stuff. Mate, he doesn't deserve this, and he's like, I don't like dealing with these guys. This whole time he's just trying to keep the peace. It's like, whoa, guys, calm down, because it's like, when Flash and Tatsumaki start acting up, he's like, okay, guys, chill. Yeah, so, fair play to Child Emperor this chapter. He doesn't deserve this kind of stuff. He's a kid. He should relax more. But of course, like, Zombie Man was good, obviously, because he also, like, when he put up that good argument, it's like, you know, I say Zombie Man's better, mostly because he says about how, you know, we can't, you know, our main goal is to rescue, and the secondary goal is to defeat, you know, so don't go launch any wild-scale attacks to Tatsumaki. And Tatsumaki, I like it when someone puts her in a place a bit. I like Tatsumaki when she gets feisty, because we'll get onto that later on, but I also do just like it when someone gets a bit like, you know, alright, calm down, is that really the way to behave? So I think back to, like, when, Tatsumaki was going to fight Saitama after Boros happened, and then Bankshot was like, is this really how the Class 2 hero behaves? And she's like, she just flies off. I like it when moments like that happen. She's like, I can't argue. Because she does have some form of reason, as we see later on in the chapter 2. I should get onto that. But yes, this whole interaction was really good. And then it just got onto another level when a Mind Mask joined in, because a Mind Mask is a character full of mystery, and I don't like him. Well, I like that I don't like him because he's very, like, he represents the negativity of the Hero Association, I think. But, as it carries on, they're having this discussion because they're planning on splitting. The S-Class heroes are going to go on the offense, and the A, Bs, and Cs are all staying on the defense. So a My Mask walks in. He's got this. He's got like this punk design. He looks pretty cool. And he's like, well, what's going on? Why was I not included in this meeting? And then they're all trying to think of answers, and just the best answer. It could have been done it could have been done better because Tatsumaki's she's in her simple form, and she's just like, because nobody likes you. Go away, pretty much. And I was like, yes! It was just, see, that's why, like, I think it's mostly because she's doing it to characters I like, but when there's a character I'm like, oh, you're a bit untrustworthy in My Master, when she's like, go away, we don't like you. And it's obviously, it makes sense the S-Class heroes don't like him, because, you know, he keeps criticising them at every call, and I can't get the words out, it was really good. So obviously, My Mask is pissed off at this, because he thinks he should be there, and he thinks he's the best, he does. He thinks very highly of himself. And once again, Charlotte Emperor has to step up and be like, actually, no, we respect your decisions a lot, and we respect your strength and your leadership skills, so we want you to lead the team, the support team. We want you to be the captain of the support team and make sure if anyone gets away, you're there to deal with it. And he tries to keep the peace. And Atomic Samurai, I feel this is kind of like his grudge against him. Obviously, last time, when he was with that conflict from last time, he was like, yeah, but obviously my students are coming down with me because we need good people to go down and help us. And that isn't helping. They're having this conflict between each other. And it just, So as it carries on, it's just like, you've got, and he just looks around, and I kind of get why. Like, he looks for that one weakness. This is the kind of character My Mask is. He looks for a character's weakness or a group's weakness, and he exploits it. So, while Pink God hasn't really said much, and he's just focused on eating, of course, because that's what he likes to do, and obviously Dark Allies talking to him, he's like, you guys are weak, you don't pay attention, you can't be trusted with this kind of role, you know. And then Tatsumaki speaks up again, he's like, well, you're too weak, get out of here. And the thing is, he knows what to do, and this is kind of why he's clever. Well, I imagine he does this on purpose, because he just completely ignores Tatsumaki, and he's like, Child Emperor, like, what, like, you know, this is not acceptable, kind of thing. I demand to be, he's basically like, I demand to be in charge of the S-Class heroes, like, you've got to put me in charge. And then it's just that zombie man moment where he leans back, takes a smoke, and he's like, that's, if you want to tell us a joke, you should have just started with your name. I was like, these jokes, these guys, the tension's there, and I'm loving it, because normally I'm like, no, everyone has to work together, it's the only way to be good, but then I'm like, I wouldn't mind an S-Class fight, though. That would be cool, that would be nice, but obviously, not now, but then I'm like, hey, I think there's going to be a big ol' S-Class fight, and it'll be hopefully very good. And one of my favourite attentions to detail, it's only small, but like, Tatsumaki keeps going off, because when she starts talking, no one's going to stop her, so throughout the rest of this chapter, well, the rest of this conflict, until King shows up pretty much, there's just Tatsumaki going like, I'm much better than all of you, you don't hold a candle to me, like, you know, you're not even that handsome, even though you're like that. And then, a My Mask is on, and then like, you just got that small panel in the corner where Dark Hour's like, don't say that, you get attacked by social media. I don't think Tatsumaki would care, but I think that might, but obviously one of the most dangerous things about a My Mask is how popular he is and how much his fans adore him and would probably do a lot for him, so it puts us into dangerous situations, and I wonder what would happen if a very unpopular hero was to come up against a very popular hero. But who could I be talking about? I don't know. And once again, like, even though Zombie Man, despite he said what he said, he also goes like, if you want the credit, you can take the credit. We just need to help the people. And once again, when a My Mask is backed into this corner, he changes the subject and tries to attack someone else. So the moment he does this, he's like, are you a monster, Zombie Man? And you know, Zombie Man obviously took a lot of offense to that, obviously because he comes from the House of Evolution, and it's about the next stage of, I suppose, we don't know his whole history, but he's probably quite sensitive about being compared to a monster, despite of where he came from, and obviously what he's trying to do, and he's trying to help people, you know, and they're like, you know, well, you don't die, and so that's very monster, like, I don't think we can trust you, we only hide you on your fighting abilities, and, you know, Amayama starts to get a bit veiny, and he does this a few times throughout the series, like, he does it later on as well, when him and Flash, I'll talk about that now, may as well, when, Flash was like, you know, like, oh, well, if you think you can force us to, then do it. And then like that fight, it nearly broke out a fight between those two, and I was like, yes, but I knew nothing would happen because obviously they've got to work together. But still, come on, because obviously these two characters we want to see more of. And on top of that, when I think of But like I said, obviously it works well with his name and my mask because he looks very nice, and obviously there's a mask to him which obviously hides his more deceptive side, which obviously, like, you know, he's pretty much helping run the Hero Association, and maybe when he goes all out he looks quite hideous and disgusting, and, you know, because obviously we've seen the veins show up, and they were really showing up this time, obviously because he was about to go up against an S-Class, so maybe that's kind of like part of his design as well. And then the last thing I want to talk about is pretty much the whole King bit. Well, like just before with Prisoner, where he's like, where obviously it's all going down, it's quite serious, and he's like, a master-slave relationship with an aggressive heartthrob might not be bad, I'll have to remember this. And I'm like, Puri, not the time! But I think it does actually represent really well the S-Class heroes the S-Class heroes to me represent really well the majority of the Hero Association and what they are. So, for example, you do have the people who want to get in there and try and make a difference, Super Dark Alloy, and then you've got people who are kind of there as well, Zombie Man, but you've also got a lot of people who are there because they want to prove that they're the best, or they want the fame or the fortune, or for their own personal goals. So, for example, you had Pig God who wasn't participating in the meeting at all, really. He was just there, but he was just ordering food and drink the whole time, like, you know, his own personal goal. Tatsumaki, who was there for more like an ego boost more than anything, to prove that she's the greatest, and a lot of heroes there are trying to say, I'm the best, and look at what I can do. And also, like, I suppose kind of the similar thing with the fame and fortune kind of stuff as well. Yeah, and then obviously there's the corruption, which I think is represented in my mask. I probably look into this too much, but yes, that makes sense to me. And I have to go to work now, so I'll carry on this review another day. Or even better, my shift can get cancelled so I can finish the review. So, King arrives, and this whole thing, like, it's great how he shows up, and it was a funny moment, of course, when, obviously, he's like, you know, well, I was in Dead City and the hot pot, because my mask is obviously demanding stuff, and then the guy's like, he was fighting all night against monsters without a break, and he took down so many, and like this, you know, it's an example of, like, his pride and how he didn't run away, look at all the stains on him. And in an instant, like, obviously he's like, why are they taking this out of context, let me explain. In an instant, he manages to defuse the whole situation. Flashy Flash and the My Mask are going to go at each other, and despite how much, like, and what really sets it apart is how characters both of My Mask and Tatsumaki, and My Mask is such, like, you know, looks are important, but we kind of see that he values results a little more, at least. So, he's like, okay, King, that was very impressive. At least there's some S-Class heroes who are pretty good. And even Tatsumaki, who was so critical about everything, was like, not bad, good job, King. She basically told him that he did a good job. And, you know, this is King's real power in the world more than anything, is his influence. Like, you know, his reputation as the world's strongest man. So when people say he does things, they believe it. And he's got monsters in fear. So maybe, obviously he's got to go down there. He's going down now and he's really worried about it. And I think maybe this might be his ability more than anything. So, because we've only seen it once in the past. I can't remember his rank when King first met, like the monster he was up against. But that monster instantly gave up and begged for his life against King. So I wonder if this is on, like, the exception was of course G4, because G4 was a robot and, you know, he didn't care, he didn't have any emotions like that, but he at least had logic and understanding. So maybe at least he'll be able to keep, like, demon class monsters away, because if he's the strongest man in the world and he's got that reputation, people are like, I'm not fighting him, I don't want to die, and maybe he'll hold his own until a monster executive shows up, and maybe he's got to intimidate them or something. I don't know. The King Engine's apparently quite scary, like, everyone's a bit worried about it. But yes, they're getting all the forces ready, and once again Child Emperor's like, King, you can't go off on your own like that, yada yada, and it cuts over to Sitch and Second Girl, and we learn basically Second Girl, Second Girl's a bit dodgy, because I think he was the best, but he's still trying to make him it makes him appear like he's the real hero, like, you know, obviously, if after the Monster Association's defeated, if Second Girl's still alive, he's going to get a massive promotion. It depends on the events that go down there. You know, Sitch at first is like, you know, because Second Girl himself is going straight to the association with everyone else, and Sitch is like, well, that takes some courage. I guess you're doing this for more than fame. And he's like, no, I'm doing this for fame. If I do this right, I'm going down in history. And I imagine something's going to happen to Second Girl. It'd be interesting if he died. It would. He'd have to show a different side to him. It'd only be if he showed like a cowardly side or something like that. Or, I don't know. It's tough to say, it's unpredictable, but something's going to happen to Second Girl, and maybe he won't get this promotion, or he'll go missing, or something along those lines. Because they're very much building him up to be like a worse person in the association. in comparison to someone like Sitch, who's trying to organise things and try and get people okay, because obviously he was like, no, we want Bang and we want Genos because they're powerhouses, you know. So, we do meet the support class heroes, and we don't see all of them in detail, but I suppose we introduce the ones that really matter. And I like them. They've all got a variety of designs, they're all there to help out and do their bit, and they understand that. Favourite one definitely was Mizuki. We need more female heroes. I liked the design, it was good. You know, because I think now that makes... So, it's Fubuki, Tatsumaki, Mizuki, Lily, Tank Top Lady, and possibly that one girl from the OVA, but I'm not really counting that. So that's 5 at least out of hundreds of heroes that are women. I'd like a few more that I met, like, that are women. I'd like some more female heroes. That'd be cool. It would. Please. So as it carries on, we're introduced to a few. So, couple to note, I like Gisper as well. I imagine he's going to be similar to Bones in the sense of he's going to have this moment where he's like, I can do this, I'm a great psychic, and he's going to get one shot by Gyogyo or something. And then we've also got that delinquent looking guy, I can't remember his name, pop it down below. So maybe just because he's delinquent, maybe I'm thinking too much, but maybe he's got some kind of connection to Metal Bat, and maybe that's why he joined the Hero Association, because maybe they were like gang rivals and Metal Bat was stronger. So maybe, the thing is, they all say, you know, their one concern was, they had the S-class heroes, like, you know, they don't like S-class heroes and they don't like A-class heroes, yada yada yada. Yeah, Feather was fine too, he had a bit of a generic design. I like Longshot too, I think that was his name. Longshotter even, because a sniper would be interesting to see fight. In any case, yes. And then second girl's like, yeah, you've got my word. And then Sitch has a private moment where he's like, is this something you can guarantee? Because you shouldn't get their hopes up for this. And I think maybe they won't get promoted at all. Well, like, maybe their ranks will go up slightly, but I think in their idea, because I think humans don't really have a great sense of what levels monsters are at. I only say this because I think of Stinger back in Deep Sea King's arc, where he takes down all his henchmen. He's like, there must have been a god level threat, I'm the greatest, and he got one shot by Deep Sea King. So maybe they're going to have a similar moment where they're like, oh, we're the greatest, we defeated so many, we must have defeated some of the lieutenants of the Monster Association, the executives, and they're going to come back and their ranks might go up like 2 or 3 paces, and they'll be like, we risked our lives, and maybe that's going to create more tension for the Hero Association, because, yeah. But maybe that's too much into your own ideas, Matt. But yeah, that was interesting, to say the least. Because he's like, do you not think the shield's going to protect us? Like, do you not have faith in the heroes? And he's like, he's questioning his faith in heroes when Second Girl was a few chapters ago like, no, we can't trust Bang, we can't trust Genos, we can't trust these guys because they'll be in the way. And it's like, no, get them here because we need all the help we can get. If this is, in your words, the god level threat, get everyone here. Please. So then Bang and Bomb show up because Bang needs a new headphone. Bang needs a new phone for the Hero Association, and he has a little conversation with Sitch. And that whole conversation's purpose, more than anything, was just to kind of say, you know, did you let Garo go? Did you go easy on him? And like they have that conversation pretty much after he leaves, because, you know, they're concerned that Bang is like not, you know, he's not going all out on Garo. He's not doing his hero duties. And as Bang says, you know, after Bomb asks like, did you go easy on? Bang goes, I did not go easy on him. But there's a difference between not going easy on someone and going all out on someone. Because he can treat him like an equal, and that's fine. But at the same time, if Bang isn't, but as we saw, Bang wasn't going all out. It was only near the end, it was hinted that he could go all out at the end of the El Centipede fight, where obviously he was going to buy time for Genos and Bomb to escape. So, I mean, potentially, because obviously we need to know more about Bang and Garo's history to kind of understand where Bang is coming from in this sense. Because obviously Garo, you know, the thing is, Garo obviously didn't have a lot of trust in people, yet he obviously... But maybe Bang took him in. Like, it's something I want to see a lot now. I just want to see their history so we can get a clear idea. Meanwhile, King sneaks in trying to hide from everyone so he can get a moment alone. He ends up bumping into Bang, and this is when Bang finds out about all the plan to go onto the Monster Association attack. And, you know, he's like, oh, they must not trust me and Genos anymore. And, you know, they catch up with everything really quickly. Small note, Bomb was wearing glasses. I like that. That was nice. I don't know where he pulled them from, but I was like, oh, that's a nice thing. He's an old man wearing glasses. So and they eventually agree that to King, like, listen, King, sneak us in with you, and we'll go, because apparently all the S-Class heroes we learn are splitting up, and they're all going their individual routes. So, literally, King he was like, I guess I can take you, but he's like, thank God, because obviously they're on their way, they're going to join him. And this whole bit with all the characters who weren't going and now going, I didn't mind that at all. I kind of wish it happened a little bit at a time while we are, because I thought they'd come in separate waves, but I don't hate that at all. Like, I'm glad they're like, okay, everyone's going. I suppose it's just so we could get to, okay, fight, really. I suppose there can be a lot of fights happening at once. So it's not really, apart from Genos and Saitama arriving late, everyone else is going to be there. Yeah. So, Fubuki, as Fubuki said as well, you know, she's got a bit, to prove her sister wrong, she's going in any case, and she's going with her new Fubuki group, because, you know, she got a bit of a grudge against Super S, so obviously, I thought they were going to fight again in any case, but I'm glad Super S is, I'm glad they're kind of like, yeah, these two are going to fight, and I hope I think Fubuki should win. Fubuki win, cool. There wasn't too much to say about the Fubuki stuff, but I'm glad she's actually still going, and she figured out quite quickly. It's like, my sister just said, no, I'm gonna go in any case. So maybe that's, maybe we'll see a new level of Tatsumaki's power if Fubuki gets injured really badly, for example. Kind of like a Mob Psycho thing, if you've read that at all, of course. And then, we see Genos, and this was kind of the thing in the chapter I was most unsure about, is his new armour. It looks cool. Don't get me wrong, I like the design a lot. It's just, I think it was when I saw his full body design, I was a bit like, because I really liked the way his designs were going beforehand. And if this was like, I thought at first this would be a temporary upgrade, because as Dr. Cuseno said, you know, it's such a massive, it's unbalanced, you know, it doesn't really sacrifice your armor's ability at all, but it's just a massive boost in power. But because of that, you can't go full power for a long period of time, you can only go for 10 seconds. So, because I liked the way it was slowly progressing that way, and all of a sudden it just had like this drastic change. Not bad, I like it, and when I saw the full body of it, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Okay, so two things I want to mention before I carry on. The first thing is I forgot to talk about the big art piece, which was all the heroes heading out to the Monster Association. It's a great bit of art, but I think even in the small ways, maybe it gives hints of what's going to happen. So, for example, the S-Class heroes up front, so obviously we're going to see a lot of them. But My Mask is he's there, but he's kind of off to one side too, so maybe we're going to see bits of him, but we're not going to see everything that a My Mask can do. And then out of all the A to C class heroes, obviously a few of them are there, but then it's like characters like Mizuki, who stands out, for example. So maybe she's going to have a bigger role in the support. Maybe I'm looking into too much of this, and maybe it's just like, oh look, it's the girl! But maybe that's what's going to happen there. And also, the second thing, which is smaller, I got this pointed out to me in the stream, is that when I was doing my live reaction, Jet Nice Guy, who died in the Deep Sea King fight, might actually be alive, and he might be there. Because there is someone who looks very similar to him, he's got the J, and I think, yeah, we think he's alive. And it's great. I'm happy he's alive, because he's the only real, not many heroes have actually died, he was the first death, really, I think, in One Punch Man, for a good guy, that we know of. But yeah, it was good. I'm happy if he's okay. But he kind of plays a background role, so maybe it's not that important. Who knows, it might not even be Jet Nice Guy, it might be his older brother, or someone who's similar to him, who's an upgraded form. Kind of like how you've got, like, Smile Man and his other brothers there, too. Yeah, so, Fubuki and Genoscope, I don't really have too much to say about this part. It's basically saying, you know, the gang's all getting together, everyone knows what's going on, and they're ready to fight. Also, just quickly about, I'll talk about it, my head's everywhere. Also, with the Genos thing as well, he's also said, you know, like, that he can only go full power for 10 seconds. Obviously, he's going to surpass that, but then who's going to save him? Because it might be Saitama, because obviously, you know, Saitama's whole thing is, you know, kind of just keep breaking your limits and do what you can to help people. It's kind of the limit he's trying, it's kind of the message Genos has taken from him, is just keep going and going and going because someone has to do it. So, maybe Genos is going to be pretty badly injured after this Monster Association arc and can't fight for a bit, and maybe that'll give some other people a moment to shine. Perhaps if Ryu comes back into the story, maybe that. Sonic as well, because obviously Sonic's going to be on the sidelines throughout the whole of the Monster Association arc because he's got the poorly tummy. Yeah, Bang, Bomb and King roll up, and they're all saying, yeah, let's do this together. King's insanely worried because Saitama's nowhere to be found, and that's his trump card really, and he's the only one who truly gets, you know, like everyone understands how strong Saitama is. Well, people get Saitama strong, but King's the closest one to understanding how truly strong he is, because obviously all the credit King has taken is from Saitama. So, there were a couple of good moments, so that I really like just the small bits where, like, Bang was like, will you join us in the raid? And Joe's like, of course, and then it was all shaded and dark. I was like, okay, that looks cool, I'm ready for this. And then Fubuki has, yes, the new Fubuki group will roll out together. And she's just, and then they'll just ignore her completely, because she's so obsessed with her being the Fubuki group, but they're the Saitama gang, it's what they are. Yeah. So, basically, they're all going with King, except for Genos. Genos is going to have to wait for Sensei, is what he said, but I imagine this is kind of, so if things go bad, Genos can at least be that second wave to go in, because I thought they would go in separate waves, and maybe Bang and Bomb would be, like, one of the later waves if Genos was going to be the next one. But obviously, the thing is, they're all going in with King. At some point, he's going to get separated, and I'm actually looking forward to see what King can do on his own, because I think he's got that intimidation factor. He's got that presence, because he's recognised as the strongest man in the world. But yeah. And where is Saitama? He's underground. He went underground and he's going to get lost. He gets lost easily. He's not an idiot. I don't think he's an idiot, but he can have a bad sense of direction, especially underground in the sewers. If you don't know where you're going, I'm giving him credit for that one. And I think he's just going to end up just... I was like, maybe he'll end up in a fight with a monster, or maybe he'll just end up underground. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up going to another city. If he ends up, by the end of it, like at A headquarters or something, like City A's headquarters, and then they're like, okay, buddy, what are you doing here? It's like, I went to fight the monsters, and then they're like, that's over in said city. The fight's going on right now. We need, and maybe it's gonna be like maybe it'll be like a deep seeking thing. Where like, we need backup, and then Saitama's gonna have his moment. And he's gonna head over straight there. Perhaps, we don't know. But yeah, that's my review, and I rambled, but not in the good way. I feel like I went on too long for this one, but yes. What did you think of this chapter? I quite liked it. It's still interesting to see these kind of chapters where there's no real fighting, but there's enough going on there too. And I liked it. I liked it. Fine, I said it. But yeah, give this review a like if you like this, comment down below if you want to see more, subscribe, comment down below to talk about this, subscribe if you want to see more, and of course, I actually have a question this time. My only request is no webcomic spoilers, please. I know it's deviating from the webcomic, people have told me this, but I'd still taking it as a guideline, I imagine. So if there's anything you know, try and keep that a secret, and maybe talk about the fights that might happen with characters that you haven't seen, because I would like to ask, who do you think's going to fight who? Because I imagine we're going to get pretty heavy into some fights now. It's going to be the problem. I'm hoping. I wouldn't mind if it's not, but I hope it's quite like, okay, fight. Yes. So there you go. I'd like to know who you think's going to fight who, if you got any predictions, because there's dragons, there's demons. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day, and I will try and hope the microphone, yes, the microphone is on this time, so when you record it, it's okay. Thank you guys. Goodbye.